What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. New community update, more communication from EA and DICE. This time, they're addressing the controversy of this week, essentially, having to do with the update that came out and, well, didn't make a lot of people happy. In this post, they go over the updates that are coming up, and they give some commentary regarding the feedback that they've received with Breakthrough being worse than it was before, the menus being broken, micro stuttering, and a bunch of other things. So let's jump right into things. If you want to keep up to date with Battlefield 6 and everything going on with the game, this is the channel for you. I also stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. Start the YouTube channel, follow the stream, first link in the description. They start this community post off by thanking us for giving quick and detailed feedback. Yes. Quick and detailed feedback, also known as a bunch of Reddit posts and social media posts going, "You broke the fucking menu! You fucking made Breakthrough worse, holy shit!" Something like that. They go on to say later in the post they wanted to give us clear updates on the issues they are tracking, the work that has already been done to address some of these issues, and near-term and future plans. They said, the team has been reviewing all reports since the update, including items relating to Breakthrough, the firing range, portal, main menu, and performance topics, such as micro-stuttering on PC, along with several other issues. Before I go on to read all of these things they mentioned, I just want to say this. I think the intensity of the frustration when it comes to Battlefield 6 is derived from the fact that I think everyone knows how good this game can be. The beta was that big oh shit moment. Coming off the back of Battlefield 2042, which, I don't know, I can't seem to remember that game. I might have been neuralized. But coming off the back of that game, the expectations for Battlefield 6 were both very high and also exceedingly low because, of course, we couldn't put any faith in EA DICE. They essentially had to prove to us that they remembered how to make video games. And then when the beta came around, and I think surprised a lot of people with just how good it really was, I think that really gave people the taste that they wanted for years, and people saw the potential with Battlefield 6. And I think a lot of the frustration is just coming from the fact that people view a lot of these changes as moving away from the peak potential of the game and just making it harder to actually achieve that. The way I think of it is kind of like hanging a picture frame on the wall by yourself. You know, you put it up there, it's like, okay, well, it's fucking crooked to the left, tilt it the other way, okay, now it's too tilted to the right. And that's sort of what's happening with Battlefield 6 right now. It just feels like it's a little crooked, you know, in some areas. You need to fucking fix that and make sure it's centered, all that sort of stuff. It is important to understand that Battlefield 6 is still only in its infancy. You know, the game just came out a couple months ago. And that doesn't excuse some of these issues that we've been having. However, it took Battlefield 4 probably over a year to get into a playable state. So even though a lot of the issues with Battlefield 6 are really obvious and glaring, and the solutions are seemingly simple, we have a long road to go with this game. Moving on with DICE addressing the controversy in this post, though, first off, they list several items that have already been identified and are actively being addressed or have been fully resolved. On December 12th on Steam, they're releasing an update to resolve the micro stuttering. Apparently what's going on with Steam right now is if you have your Steam set to online, it increases the likelihood of you getting stuttering in the game, and the solution is actually setting your Steam online status to offline, which is just, I mean, that's just a total Battlefield DICE problem, right? I've never heard of that shit in my life. Then on December 15th, PlayStation, basically all consoles, will receive a hotfix that includes resolutions for issues related to main menu and the firing range. A lot of people have been complaining that the menu is broken and it makes the game quite literally unplayable because you cannot select the game mode you want to play. So console players, December 15th is a date to look out for regarding that. Then they gave us this big section called Issues Identified After the Update. The first thing they list is Battle Royale and the fact that users could not drop into the map. This has been resolved via a back-end update. No doubt this was one of the reasons why the RedSec Elite Series tournament was postponed. I experienced this issue, and many other players did. When you have a big tournament like that, you kind of want to be able to drop into the map. One of the other things they have already resolved in this update is the fact that they accidentally nerfed the movement via a bug that was completely unintended. What's really funny is the community reaction to this. When the update came out, people were treating this as like an official movement nerf. And of course, Reddit and everywhere was celebrating and saying, fuck streamers, fuck all these jumping assholes and these people that slide, blah, blah, blah. And then, once DICE came out and said, well, actually, the movement thing isn't a nerf, it's a bug, and we are reverting it and fixing it to how it should be, then, of course, they all had a temper tantrum and ate their own shit, which I just love to see, because the section of the Battlefield community that basically just wants to destroy the game's gameplay by heavily nerfing every single thing to do with movement. Not only are these people tourists and fake fans that don't understand how Battlefield games traditionally play, they're some of the most annoying and hypocritical people I've ever seen. So anything that makes them angry, I am all for. Now, some other things they fixed in this update, they fixed daily challenge rewards, and they fixed conquest ticket count reverting to 1,000 when they initially bumped it up to 1,200. There are some more things that are receiving hot fixes that are currently being developed. Number one is main menu navigation. The other things have to do with micro stuttering, firing range, bot stats tracking again. Some people were confused. They're like, why is my KD 20? It's like, well, you're a bot farmer, so, you know, bot stats are tracking on your account again. The next section of this post has to do with community feedback, and the first thing they mention is breakthrough. For those of you that are not aware what they did in this update, they basically made it extremely difficult, and I'm just going to say impossible, to play breakthrough defense for the most part. They removed a lot of defensive vehicles and increased the amount of vehicles that are available to attackers, which of course creates an inherent imbalance. DICE says, following our update, many of you shared concerns that increasing in attacker vehicles can make certain maps difficult to defend, especially with fewer players per team, and that additional anti-vehicle options may be needed. We also heard strong sentiment around player count and pacing, with some players preferring the intensity of 64-player breakthrough or map-specific player counts to better match each layout. Players also pointed out that objective placement and sector flow can contribute to imbalance on certain maps, and that improving defender access or reducing early attacker momentum may be more impactful than vehicle changes alone. Finally, we saw reports of new vehicles spawning while earlier ones were still active, which led to more pressure on defenders than intended. We rolled out a resolution yesterday as part of our ongoing tuning, and we'll continue to monitor the new occurrences. Guys, shocking occurrence: when you give the attackers a shit ton of vehicles, it puts more pressure on the defending team. Unfortunately, this is just one of those instances where DICE created a problem for themselves they now have to fix. I said it as soon as I saw these changes. And again, even more unfortunately, I don't think, even if they reverted this update, it would really fix Breakthrough. I think Breakthrough has larger issues, and I think a lot of it has to do with the maps. And you can't really easily fix the maps, can you? After they addressed Breakthrough, I believe these are the first few paragraphs they've given us addressing vehicles in Battlefield 6. They start off by saying they've heard concerns about tanks taking unintended damage in specific situations. And I don't know if you guys are aware, certain tank skins apparently took more damage. So, God forbid you want to make your tank look cool, you're going to have to take 50% more damage for that. They also mentioned that they heard that armored vehicles could sometimes take inconsistent damage depending on the angle you hit the vehicle at, so they updated vehicle damage zones. When it comes to air-to-air combat, they mentioned they are making the jet 1v1 time to kill longer. One of the most funny things about Battlefield vehicle balance right now is if you're in a jet versus heli encounter or a jet versus jet, it essentially is just who insta-kills each other first. There isn't much fighting that goes on, and one of my favorite things to do in previous Battlefield games is to dogfight. And with the time to kill right now, there isn't much of a dogfight happening in the game, so they are reducing the jet cannon damage. And the last thing they mentioned in this section is, beyond Season 1, they are investigating a dedicated air radar system that will help with visibility and situational awareness during air engagements. Those of you that have played in air vehicles in Battlefield will know air radar is basically non-negotiable. It is essential. So while it is good to hear they're going to be addressing it in Beyond Season 1, it needed to be in the game at launch. So there you have it, addressing the things that happened this week. Some good information here. I do appreciate the communication. It's miles better than anything we got in previous Battlefield games. This is definitely the best communication from DICE I've ever personally seen. So let me know your thoughts about all this stuff. If you enjoy the channel and want to keep up to date with Battlefield 6, hit the sub button, be sure to hit the like button, and of course swing by the streams. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders, first link in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.